Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Most of you know me as Nathan, but Claire Benedict insists on calling me Nene, so that's how I'm known in those circles. Tonight I am sharing a series of 4 vignettes, snapshots from my life and from various seasons and trials and tribulations that are really to show how this congregation has been Christ to me and how they are really doing a wonderful job of serving as the body. I have conveniently sorted these vignettes in order of easiness to talk about to most difficult, so we can put all the crying at the end when I've said the rest of the things that need to be said. The first one is really more of a transition point than a trial per se. This is when I'm moving over to Fredericksburg and really learning about the Reformed faith for the first time. So I got involved with the Griffin Care Group through a very funny story of the Griffins living here and then supposed to drive their house like this, but the navigator wanted me to do this motion, and so I land in the middle of this like giant cornfield, wheat field, whatever crop this is, like this is a Stephen King novel, and there's this really tall guy outside who welcomes me in, and that's of course none other than Sean O'Hara, and he quickly becomes one of my best friends along with the entire O'Hara clan. So through the Griffin group, I learned a lot about Reformed theology beyond just the basics of there's this guy, John Calvin, and he likes to follow Calvinism, but getting into the depth of what does it really mean to be able to say that apart from you, I am no good thing, and just to be able to acknowledge that, to be able to pray together and really see true brotherly love and late night conversations in the middle of the kitchen that would just seem to never end. So that's kind of vignette 1. And the second and third vignettes are largely about my work life and a lot of the various struggles I've had in that time. So the second one is a drought in my work, not to be confused with the drought outside of my work where I'm at now, where there's no employment to be had. But that's a story for another time. So from a period of about September 2023 to March of 2024, I had a severe drought in work where there was nothing to do for the whole time. Nothing happened at all, and I begged for work over and over again, but I was not given any of it. And this was the time when I was in the Kriegshauser Care Group and really understood the prayer of a righteous saint, because I would have a request about something that was going very badly wrong. They would pray with me, the request would be answered the next day, and I saw it over and over and over again. And I've never seen that kind of prayer, but it was consistent, and it was just all the time, and they were always there, and they still are. So it's been wonderful just to see Roger and Kelly just showing up and being at church. And that was a season that I would have been in a much worse place had I not had their support through that time. The prayer request for more work ended up being answered, and I got so much work that I didn't know what to do with it, so that was probably not the best prayer. But I ended up in where I'm going with the third vignette of a season of a trial of work like I'd never experienced. This was a kind of work, thorn, and suffering that is kind of hard to think about. It's the sort of thing where Job sits down and says, like this is impossible. It has been appointed for man to work, and it's just all suffering. Does not man have hard service on earth? Are not his days like those of a hired man, like a slave longing for the evening shadows, or a hired man waiting eagerly for his wages? So I have been allotted months of futility, and nights of misery have been assigned to me. And that was my life for the 9-month period from March of 2024, increasingly through to the end of last year. I remember there was a night when I came home crying to my family, saying that the things I would rather be doing than my job right now includes childbirth and kidney stones. And meaning every word of it, and just every single day thinking, yep, still agree with that statement, it's still correct. I remember at that point there were a lot of people in my life that really did a lot of good. The Schraders were a major part of that. I have seen two great mysteries in the world. One is how you get milk from almonds, since there is no mammary glands in almonds. And the second is how Eric Schrader remembers so many prayer requests at once. I don't understand. You can talk to him all day long and he never forgets. And then we have Sarah as our literal Lydia from the book of Acts, just endless generosity and hospitality and thoughtfulness. And we have people like Jacob Yee that met with me afterwards one night when I said, like, I'm really ready for God to take me now, so what do I do at this point? Because I have nowhere else I can go. And he helped me to work through what it would look like if I were to try to quit that job, which I did. And they would not let me, but they hired me back for some other things, and that gave me 6 more months of employment. But I also found that the importance of family, and especially in singleness, can't be understated. So I really appreciate being adopted into House Benedict as my second family, and being able to come over for all sorts of meals, from pancakes to Szechuan, and to really be just involved in your life, and going out to eat, and all the counseling, and the counseling cohort always being there for me, and just so many people. I was going to go through everybody, but I left my directory at home, and I was only given 5 minutes. So don't have time for that right now, maybe later. But it was just monumental seeing how everyone came and surrounded me with love during that time. And by any measure, that should have been the most difficult season of any normal person's life. Just that kind of work suffering. So just kind of to recap from the third vignette, I fell from my pedestal and right down the rabbit hole. Long story short, it was a bad time. For those people listening on the live stream that got my reference, you're welcome. But moving on to that fourth vignette, the fourth one that overshadows everything else, and I can't see anything else through any other lens now, because it's just so significant and overwhelming and never stops. And that is that on September 21st, 2022, at 10:53 p.m., we lost our sunflower. And at 9:16, the following morning, James Griffin called me to let me know that Alona Bailey had died. And that was when I understood that those who sow in tears shall reap with songs of joy. I believe that verse is speaking mostly about heaven, but I've also seen a temporal joy that comes through a church body that is grieving together and really understands suffering. I've always heard, blessed is those who mourn, for they shall be comforted, but I never understood the depth of that until I was in counseling with Pastor Sam and going through the Grief Share program with Pastor Skip and Darlene Tyler and their faithful service while they were here before they were in North Carolina to be in their next season of life. And it's just been such an overwhelming blessing to have that kind of support through something that really can't be explained at all. So I wanted to end on a verse that's hopefully encouraging for anyone who is feeling forgotten or feeling like their own work has not been noticed, that they've maybe just been feeling left out. And I felt that I've never had so many targeted sermons as the last 8 of them, so keep that coming, please. But I'm going to share from Hebrews 6:10. For God is not unjust so as to overlook your work and the love that you have shown for his name in serving the saints, as you still do.